Here will be another bark beetle update. I finally found one standing tree that was affected, that was taken down. Sadly, the cheapo camera I'm using is not very good at focusing at close range, I see. I will probably not upgrade any camera this year unless it's really fails. This one was actually quite heavily attacked. It was green in the beginning of the summer, I'm sure. It's actually quite close to the house, so um, but it was taken down. It was rotten at the bottom, like most of the spruce around my property, and I will be having quite a lot of questions regarding different bugs. I found some kind of red larvae in this one. I'm kind of hoping to see tracks of. I've watched some videos on the enemies of the bark beetle, but it's hard to keep track of all the bugs. But their biggest enemy seems to be bugs. In my experience, it seems to be ants. That's the biggest eater that I have actually witnessed for the bark beetles. And this is the eight-toothed. My dad brought over the tractor to pick up the pieces. Times have changed. When I was a little bit younger, I was driving the tractor and my dad used the chainsaw. Now it's the other way around. We did look at some of the beetles here. There was that red larvae, but the picture was taken on my dad's phone, and I'm not gonna bother him with getting hold of that picture now. I want to do this update. All of this video footage is from, well, this is from yesterday, but most of what follows it's from today. So with these bark beetles updates, I want to keep the video footage fresh. So this summer, even the places I have found windfallen trees that are affected, there have been very few beetles. Oh yeah, decided this was this morning. I checked the traps and found we had a lot of the raspberries growing. You better take advantage. I will not have time to pick a whole lot, but I suggested to a guy I know to come pick some. He has free time, so he came out and picked a lot in this area because there are plentiful. But eat some when you can. But none of the traps had anything, and I'm wondering if the lure, the pheromones that are supposed to attract them have kind of, they are supposed to last quite a long time, but maybe there are fewer. This spring, many of them I think did not make it because we got cold weather. I hope so. I found a windfall and spruce. This one will need to be taken care of. Nothing in the traps, and even now in August, when we normally might have really hot weather, it's not really been that hot. Try to save a plant or two that I've set down that have been having some competition. When I pass them and see things growing next to them. Nothing in the traps. I think I just saw a few of the traps have a couple of beetles, but absolutely minimal. And here, bad focus. I'm trying to see. I had two kind of beetles in here. I've wonder if they are enemies of the bark beetle or just random bugs caught in the trap. Try to zoom in again, but the focus is not good enough. I did not see any of the, I'm not sure, sprättbagge in Swedish, bugs that kind of, if they're turned upside down, they do a kind of a springy motion to upright themselves. Checked some of the pieces I had debarked out in the wild. This one didn't seem to be affected by the bark beetles to start with. It had some other bug that dug deeper into the wood, and still no bark beetles in it, so it's a little bit strange. Not everything is affected by them. Keep checking all the traps, and then the pieces we took care of yesterday. I looked over, and here there was actually quite a bit of beetles under the bark. Not as bad as some of the trees I found last summer that were heavily under attack. So, but I'm guessing this was attacked a little later in the season. What was under attack very early? Some of the windfallen trees I debarked earlier. It didn't seem like a whole lot of them had actually evolved to beetles. I think a lot of the eggs froze away, or if they had become larvae by then. We had some cold weather early this summer, so I don't think it has escalated this summer. But even if the focus is bad, you can see there are quite a bit of creepy crawlers here, and down here I found some of those white worms. I do not think they are enemies of the bark beetle. I found some of these in the pine also, so at least I think it's the same larvae. I found a pine that was a log. I think it might have been forgotten that we missed it, or from previous years. It looked so dry and bark falling off. So I tried like putting a bark beetle in front of this larvae and see if it would like attack it and try to eat it, but it kind of just moved on. But as I understand, some of the enemies of the bark beetle has lays larvae that attacks the larvae and eggs of the bark beetle. But the ants seem to really love the bark beetles. I've seen signs of that previously also. So if I debark stuff here and lay it down, I have ants hills not far away from where I have kind of started debarking a few trees. So if the ants like them, they are probably gonna get eaten.
Ja,
So
vi får se om du kom hit.
that will be the bark beetle update. I will probably. I don't think the first generation has really left the trees yet, and we will only be getting one generation as it looks now, because this summer has been pretty normal for the north part of Sweden, where the saying goes that Swedish summer is the best day of the year in singular form. Last few years has been a lot hotter and drier than that, so bark beetles have been able to make it. So hopefully we will have cold and wet summers in the future also.